Welcome to A340 Garage. So this video is gonna be very simple. I'm just gonna show you guys how to install this ATF, right? TH400 to J3 bell housing, which is that bell housing right there. That's the torque converter, also from ATF, and this is their kit, right? This is a tranny built by yours truly, Papote. And the reason why I'm doing this, because it might be super simple to install, which is it is, right? But there's a few things that nobody talks about when installing this adapter plate. So the kit comes with these O-rings, right? Which they fit, but these O-rings, what nobody explains is that they go on the back of the plate. So what everybody kept telling me was to put these O-rings on the bolt, right? You put on the bolt and then it seals the front so it doesn't leak through the front of the bolt, especially these bottom ones, right? But what everybody failed to tell me was that they go on the back. Makes sense because it's got these ridges over here, right? Which is make perfect sense, cool. But then this ring prevents the oil from going on this part, coming from the sides, leaking. But how about in the front, right? It can still leak through these holes, through the thread, and come out. So that's why I bought an extra set of these rings, O-rings. And the O-rings that I will be using for the front are these ones right here, which are 6mm by 10 by 2mm. That's the inner diameter, that's the outer diameter, and that's how wide it is. And these O-rings will fit perfect in here, and it's gonna seal the front. Now I always put a little bit of silicone. I'm missing one more there. I always put a little bit of silicone, and the silicone that I will be using is this one right here. That is actually for automatic transmissions, and that will seal it. So I'm gonna apply some silicone, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna mount this. So this is how the O-rings go, right? And the reason why I like to put some silicones is because these pumps are old and sometimes they're not perfect. Like for example, this here is not perfect, so the O-ring will not seal perfect. That's why I add a little bit of silicone on the back, so it seals really, just a little bit. You don't have to add a lot, you don't have to coat the whole thing, just a little bit around. So this is how it looks. You see it's got the O-ring, and I just put a little bit of silicone around it with the O-ring on the inside, and I just added a little bit too on the outside, on the inside, the outside of the pump, I'm sorry. Just like that, especially this bottom part here. That's what, like I said, that's where they tend to leak. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these O-rings on the bolts, and also add a little bit of silicone over here in the tip around, so make sure it seals properly. Okay, so I just put silicone like on the edge, right, at the edge of the bolt, and then I slide the O-ring down. That way it creates a proper seal. So I just slide it down, the O-ring, it's gonna touch it, you see, and that will make sure that when you flip this around, it seals also the front part. Now that I have all of them ready, I'm gonna slide them in so they can have some thread, and then I'll put it in there. I don't want to put it in and have one of those O-rings roll. I'd rather just make sure that all of them go through and the O-ring stays in place, so when I torque them, they don't get a pinch or nothing. So basically it's gonna look like this. See the bolts? This is a 6 bolt pump, so I'm only using 6, but just so you guys see. So basically it's gonna look like this. Now the way this silicone works, you apply it, you hand tighten the bolt, give it a little snug, and then once you wait an hour, then you re-torque them again, and you gotta wait 24 hours before you can apply, you can add fluid into the transmission. So I'm gonna clean this a little bit more so the bell housing can sit flush on it. Now the bolts, it comes with these bolts right here. I'm just gonna tell you that there's 2 bolts that are longer than all the others. These are all short. These 4 right here are short, right? And there's these ones are long. These long ones are for this bottom part. Okay, and then the other ones are for the top. Right, so it's been an hour already. Silicone is already dry. So I just retorqued them again. And now I'm gonna put this right here. So the starter, which is this hole right here, goes to the right, goes right here. And if you see, all the bolts align perfect. So look, it fits so perfect, then it doesn't have any bolts and it just holds there just because of the groove that the adapter has. So I'm gonna put these bolts in because I can't do it with one hand, right? And I'm gonna show you how it looks, everything, once it's completed. And this is how everything looks. Whenever you cut this bell housing, the original bell housing, make sure you know that you have the plate with you, so make sure everything clears, because if not, this plate will not sit flush. So it's very important that you cut it to where nothing touches. This is the ATF, also the converter. You see, it's like this is for a TH400 and it's smaller, and it's got 6 bolts over here, and it also runs with the flex plate, the what's that, SFI flex plate. And that's it. That's how you install it. If you do it the way I did it, you will not have any issues with no leaks whatsoever. And let me show you guys real quick the machine. I haven't put no videos on of it running, but you know what, I'm gonna put one right now following this part right here. But I just want to say that the car, we took it to the track, and it's got the TH400 built by Papote with ATF parts, and it's got their torque converter, the same kit that you saw over there. That's the one it's got over here, and it ran an A5 and 158. So stay right here so you guys can see it. So everybody, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next video.